I know that the hormone topic has been kind of clickbaity and has been, of interest to a lot of us. So, like, what actually does happen to your hormones when you're chronically undereating, Kelsey?
Yeah, I mean, we know certain things. Like within my thesis, there were many studies that I outlined about like the hormonal and metabolic effects of too low energy for prolonged periods of time. So, some of which are things like I mentioned, decrease resting metabolic rate, which we've talked about this in previous episodes, which is your body's basic requirement calorically to sustain these basic functions like blinking, breathing, your blood moving through your body. Those are the basic
Digestion.
digestion. Those are the basic things that your resting metabolic rate does. So that ultimately makes it harder to see weight loss when you are in a calorie deficit. Because if you think about, okay, let's say your RMR is 1300 and then you're constantly dieting, that number is going to consistently decrease, and down regulate, which makes it harder to see weight loss. You either have a choice where you continually eat less, but hopefully you can stay for this full episode and then you'll realize that that's not the answer. We will give you the answer. Um, I digress, but some of the other hormones that are reduced or like impacted by too low energy available or too few of calories is reduced leptin. So that's going to be your satiety hormone. So the feeling that you get of feeling full after a meal that reduces. Your T3, like I mentioned, thyroid hormone also impacted and also an increased ghrelin. So, ghrelin is going to be your hunger hormone. We remember this because it sounds like gremlin, right? Like you're a
Yes.
little gremlin when you're
A hunger
hungry.
gremlin.
Yes. So, we want to keep that lower. And we do that by eating satiating meals so that we don't have that spike in ghrelin where you're like, I need to eat everything.
Right. And so that means you're never full, you're never satisfied, you're constantly hungry, and then you're probably plateauing in your weight loss and more fatigue and irritability. And all of this will probably get you thinking like my metabolism is broken, my hormones are messed up. But what if your metabolism isn't broken, but rather adapting and working with exactly how it's intended to? It's adapting because your body is doing everything it can to stay alive and maintain those higher priority functions, but it's doing what it's supposed to because you're not giving it anything. So it's just adapting to what you've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Our body is smart. And there are some behavioral components too that make continued weight loss challenging. When we consistently eat too little, our bodies subconsciously move less. So,
Hmm.
decreasing your NEAT, if you remember, I know breathe is a big one for you, non exercise activity thermogenesis. So, this can look like wanting to move less. So, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, you'll just stop taking less walks. You'll have less desire to exercise, you'll do less fidgeting, your workouts start to feel harder so your output naturally declines like you mentioned in the previous case study.
Yeah.
Your workouts weren't maximized like you were used to because you were eating so few, right?
Right. And then the other side to this story is the perfect storm, right? You lose weight, you're like, I'm rocking, I look amazing. And then your hunger hormone starts to come back and your
Mhm.
satiety hormone starts to go down. So then you're like, I want to hold on to this body. But then everything that you used to think like tasted good and would satiate you doesn't. So then you are hungrier and you're like now fighting this uphill battle against your body because you've put it in a stress state for so long that now
Mhm.
it's like, ooh, you're giving me some food again. Give me everything. And nothing's going to taste as good as it does when you are high. And if you're smoking weed and you're also in a caloric deficit, it makes it that much harder. But
Yeah.
but I know this is like, more of a personal story here, but like I would even like avoid going upstairs or like my kind of just willingness to do like movement snacks throughout the day. Like
Mhm.
parking far away and then walking to the store, like those types of things just didn't sound as good. And even like going out with my friends, like I'd be like so tired and like
Yeah.
what even if I was drinking and like all that kind of stuff, I just felt like flat and wasn't having as much fun. And I was all in my head about I'm gaining weight, I'm gaining weight, I'm gaining weight. So then that paired with the mood and it just makes a really perfect